Welcome to Spirit of the Midwest, a show featuring interviews and stories that expose the deep values and pride found in the heart of America. My name is Wesley Noble, and I'm here today with my co-host, CK Hicks.
And we are actually going to do a recap of the show. We decided that we would kind of close out, I don't know if we call it season one, we never really talked about that.
Yeah,
This is
it's a season.
Sure,
Definitely.
it's a season, it's a thing. So we're going to close out what we're calling season one of Spirit of the Midwest. First, if you're listening to this, hopefully it means you've been listening to other episodes. We really appreciate your listenership.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a few things we want to talk about. But first we want to do a quick little recap, kind of a journey back through time, as it were, and look at some of our favorite moments from each of the guests and reminisce a little bit. So we started this show. First episode aired April 19th, 2015. It is now November something. Third,
yeah.
The year has flown by and it's been busy, but we opened with a brave Christian Gideon who took a chance on us, and we thank you, Christian, for being our first guest. He's a photographer here in Springfield, Missouri, which is where Wesley and I both live right now, and he told us about how he kind of came into doing photography and now how that's opened up all kinds of avenues for him to travel and to shoot weddings and be involved in people's special day, really all over the place. I mean, he goes all over. He does a really good job, super authentic, super personable, and he talked about the kind of the difference between and the balance between shooting professionally versus shooting personally and the challenges that took and really continue to take on a daily basis. So we really appreciate him, and thanks again. If you haven't checked out his photography, make sure you go take a look. He's a super passionate guy, and he's very good at what he does.
Yeah. The next guest we had was Danielle Evans, and she is a food typographer, so she gets to play with food for a living. It's just still blows my mind. She talked really candidly about her journey to getting to do what she does today, which is kind of unusual. And kind of her really rocky path to get there. And we just really appreciated her honesty and the way she talked about that. And even like the way she bottomed out and was in a oatmeal bath covered in rashes because she was so stressed out about her old, terrible job. And I can confirm that she is as bubbly as she was in the episode in person in real life. We got to meet her and talk with her at Circles. Yeah. This year, and it was great.
That was really excellent. Yeah. Really appreciate her. Third episode, we interviewed Chris Coyer. Now, I'm a web developer by trade, and so it was really cool to get to talk to someone who founded, if you don't know, CSStricks.com, which is a great resource just for kind of all things development, particularly in the front end, which is where I spend most of my time. But what was really interesting, too, was to hear his roots, having grown up in the Midwest and then went and lived on the coast and went and did some stuff elsewhere and then actually went and chose to move back. And so we got to hear from him and sort of the decision to take the website full time, and then also kind of that Midwest work ethic that really powers him and the people who live in this section of the country. So we were really, really privileged to get to talk to him. He took time to talk with us and even give us a couple little pointers on our future interviews. So it was really, really neat, and we really appreciate getting to talk with Chris Coyer.
Yeah, for sure. The next person was Jane Grantabin, and she is a family friend of mine from a while back, and she moved here from Wales years ago, I think like 6, 7, 8 years ago, and she discovered her love for painting here very much midlife and discovered this passion for that, and now she does fantastic, amazing work and teaches and has done some like therapeutic painting, and so it's just really cool to hear about her story and her discovery of that talent, and she's just a really fun person to talk with.
Absolutely. And then in our fifth interview, we kind of stumbled over Brandon Reich thanks to Danielle, actually, who referred him to us. And he's a graphic artist up in Ohio, and he was just a really neat reset kind of in the ways of a daily routine. He talked a lot about sweat equity, about doing really hard, exhausting work, kind of going to bed completely spent, doing your best work every day and doing a lot of it, and growing up in a real small town. He talked about the generational differences that exist in our workforce and kind of spoke to what the difference between the different mindsets of different age groups and what we can learn from each other. And he also, I think it'd be remiss if we didn't say, Brandon, you need to write your book, because we talked about that.
True.
And it kind of this passing comment. But if you haven't listened to this guy, he's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of really neat stuff that really should be in a book someday. So we hope that he gets on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think now he actually does have a podcast. I'm almost certain about that.
Great.
That podcast he talked about. So next was Logan Pyle, and Logan's a great friend of mine, also here from Springfield, Missouri. And he also had kind of a rocky journey creatively to pursue his passions. And he talked about how he he sets a very high importance on his family and how he balances that with his work, following his passion. And that was really cool to hear about. He also talked about managing his social media and just being disciplined with that and balancing that with his work and family life. And so he was really fun.
Confirmed original hipster.
Yes, true. And he was the first in-person interview that we did, sponsored by Mostly Serious.
That's right. And we're actually using that same mic today.
Exactly.
So it's been a lot of fun. So in the next one, we went and talked, actually with the same microphone, we went and talked with Doug Wilson, who lives here in Springfield. And he's a designer and filmmaker who has this really, hearing some of the people he's rubbed shoulders with in the past, where it was like, oh, wow, you know that person. He's like, oh, I went to school with him, you know? And he's just he's been around and he's done some really great work, most famously the story of Linotype, the film, and kind of the history of typography and just some really interesting stuff that he dug up in the history of that machine. And so he talked about how the democratization of a film team and kind of being able to work on things with people long distance, and just the importance of traveling and kind of getting out and following something that you're interested in, even if there are geographical barriers and things like that. So we just really appreciated his life experience and sharing a lot of those little journeys and travels with us.
Yeah. Next person was Colby Jennings, is another Springfieldian here, and he is an artist, like an interactive, he does interactive art pieces, and he is also a teacher, and so I believe he teaches interactive media at MSU, and so he talked a lot about his journey living on the coast and then moving back to Springfield, and how he works through like personal anxiety to inform his artwork. And so that was really interesting. He has a lot of really deep thoughts about just life in general. And so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I've actually got to I keep meeting people that have been students of his, but I've not met him yet. And so I really want to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So episode 9 was the last one we did back in September, and we talked with Adam Stakowiak. And Adam is a friend of mine and Wesley's. We met him at a conference a while back, and I've followed some of his podcasting and other projects he's done for a few years now. And really cool guy, just super, super encouraging, always willing to help out and offer advice. He's also he's a writer, podcaster, video producer, designer, coder, and more. He's just really, really great guy to talk to, and like I said, a good friend. He talked about his journey and kind of coming from small town, going into military, working for large charity organizations, but mostly he talked about pushing through closed doors, and the kind of the need for us to find, when we have a problem in front of us and we've defined what it is and we know we want to get to the other side, how sometimes the only way out is through. Mm-hmm. And so that was a real kind of a neat high note for us to end on for season 1, and it kind of inspired us to go forward into looking at season 2.
Exactly. Yes. So this has been a really fun experiment. I mean, It kind of was an experiment just to kind of probe and see what there was. And we found a lot, and we got to talk with some really cool people. Mm-hmm. And every time we finish recording with someone, it's just like, man, this is so exciting. I just want to go out and like work hard and
make stuff. And it was also really neat to, I knew Christian from a couple years ago. I knew Adam for a couple years ago. You knew Jane, obviously, from distant past. And like, it was cool to then meet a few of these people after we interviewed them, and actually get to meet them in person and, be able to look back at these episodes and stuff. So again, if we haven't said it enough, to all of the people that we interviewed, thank you so much
Yeah,
for your time
absolutely.
and sharing your life experience with us and with our listeners. And we hope we can take that into a second season next year and kind of look and see what else, whom we might be able to uncover and other things to explore. So,
and we do have a list right now of people that I'm just a very long list.
We would love to talk to so many of you.
So many, but I'm super pumped about the people on our list.
Yeah,
and people we don't even know about yet.
Absolutely. And so if you haven't checked any of these out, we encourage you to go listen to all the first 9 episodes in season 1 of Spirit of the Midwest. You can do that over at spiritofthemidwest.fm and check us out there. Give us a rating on iTunes. Tweet at us at MidwestPod on Twitter. So we hope you'll join us for year 2 of Spirit of the Midwest as we talk to more people, hear smart things they have to say, and just get to meet more of these amazing people that make up the Midwest creatives and Midwest workforce and the people that we rub shoulders with on a day-to-day basis, but maybe haven't heard their stories.
Exactly.
So we hope you'll join us. So thanks for tuning in, and please join us next time as we celebrate the Spirit of the Midwest.
Bye.